Man, I cannot believe I'm about to say this. A Montreal-based law firm has filed a request for a class action lawsuit against Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite. And according to them, the game is as addictive as cocaine and cigarettes. Alright, so the framework for this lawsuit is based around the case studies of two unnamed children. One of these children is 10 years old and the other is 15, and over the past 2 years, they've both had increasingly addictive relationships with Fortnite. The suit is being filed by a law firm called Calex Legal, and the lawyer on the case is a woman named Alessandra Chartrand. The firm was contacted by the parents of these two kids, and Alessandra started digging into the world of Fortnite to find out just how addictive this game is.
We've been hearing stories through the world of video games for over a decade of people who start playing these online fantasy games and just dive in headfirst and don't come out.
The whole legal defense is based around this case from 2015, where 3 big tobacco companies were forced to pay out massive damages because they were not properly informing their consumers about the dangers of smoking.
Drug makers are now responsible for opioid addiction. Forget personal choice to take the opioids, it's on the drug maker. Alcohol companies, cigarette makers. Like this is, I mean, we have had class action lawsuits that have actually proven that, and the companies settle.
All right, so now I'm gonna hit you with some numbers. The suit says that one of the children, identified as LN, has played 1,891 games of Fortnite since December 3rd, 2018. And the other, identified as J Oz, has played 7,781 games in a 2-year time period. That is a lot of Fortnite. And so based on these 2 main case studies, the lawsuit suggests that Epic Games is causing harm to its users by not warning them of the addictive effects of its game. To form the framework for the lawsuit at the beginning, the lawsuit identifies an addiction psychologist. Her name is Dr. Anita Gaudia-Smith, and she made this claim in January of last year that Fortnite is similarly addictive to cocaine. And given that the World Health Organization identified gaming addiction as a diagnosable disease in September of 2018, a court would be able to rule on gaming addiction the same way it rules on drugs. And so yeah, you heard me right. According to this lawsuit, we're comparing Fortnite to cocaine.
Go for it, go for it. Well, somebody's chipper this morning.
Oh, you guys are there all this time?
All right, so I'm gonna read you a section from the lawsuit here. When we play Fortnite, our brain releases the pleasure hormone, dopamine. And when a person plays over a long period of time, their brain continually receives dopamine. Soon, normal levels of dopamine no longer satisfy the brain anymore, which drives the person to require more and more dopamine to feel good, which has the consequences that the person plays more Fortnite in order to maintain your dopamine level. And so, of course, this is what would create a real addiction, because that hunger for that good feeling is the exact same thing that causes you to get addicted to drugs. Which seems at least a little bit true, but at the same time, isn't that also true about sex and sports and whatever else you like to do that makes you feel good?
I mean, the argument could be made that Netflix is addictive because, you know, they want you to binge watch their shows and they make all this great content so that you just keep watching.
All right, so I got a little bit more reading for you. The lawsuit then goes on to describe how this kind of effect can be harmful to young people. The effects of addiction to video games, including Fortnite, on the brains of children is particularly damaging in when they are continually attached to their machines, they develop severe gaps in their ability to integrate in the full spectrum of human emotions. Specialists report shortcomings in vocabulary as well as gaps in social integration. Indeed, it is recognized that the continued use of electronic devices cause significant changes to the prefrontal cortex of the human brain, changes that particularly affect young developing minds. So to put this into normal people language, this lawsuit suggests that Fortnite can have similar effects on a young person's brain to drug use, and that over time, playing a bunch of Fortnite can actually be harmful to a child's actual brain development. Other wild side effects that the lawsuit suggests could be possible when someone's addicted to Fortnite include migraines, back pain, basic hygiene deficiencies, sleep disorders, and major social unrest. Basically, every stereotypical gamer issue of all time. The next point in the lawsuit actually specifically addresses V-Bucks and all the various microtransactions that are obviously very popular in Fortnite. The suit suggests that this can be harmful to the finances of young people and how impressionable they can be with money. They say that having reward systems that encourage young people to keep spending money can be harmful. It's like tantalizing to buy that new next skin that everyone's talking about.
Bullseye, already have that skin. Dude, I don't even like harvesting tools. I said I was gonna buy them all. Dang it. All right, fine. The harpoon, woo!
This conversation is of course not new at all and has been pretty prominent in the gaming world ever since these free-to-play games have incorporated loot boxes as a way for companies to make money. And of course, in some parts of the world, loot boxes have been akin to gambling and have in some cases been outright banned. Now, of course, buying a new skin isn't exactly the same as loot boxing. It's not random. The fact is, we all know that feeling of wanting that new skin. It's just a couple bucks after all. One of the last points in when they're describing how addictive the game can be is how frequently it's updated. The fact is, when Fortnite Island changes every 3 months, it feels like you've never completed the game. And that way, you stay hooked. Okay, so now that we've established what the lawsuit says Fortnite does to children, let's talk about how this is all gonna play out legally. All right, so remember that 2015 tobacco case I mentioned earlier? Well, that's the framework for how they want this case to play out from a legal perspective. Back in 2015, the Quebec Superior Court ruled that 3 big tobacco companies were not adequately warning their users about the health risks associated with cigarettes before selling their products. After the case was closed, these companies were asked to pay back billions in damages to the people they were selling products to. And to this day, they're still trying to pay back that money. And this is exactly what this case against Epic Games, based around these 2 children's testimonies, is seeking out today. That Epic Games has not done an adequate job of warning its consumers about what is an allegedly harmful product before they make the purchase. In turn, the law firm is also asking other young people in Quebec to come forward with their stories. After listing all of this evidence, the lawsuit concludes that this Fortnite addiction is violating the child's right to life, security, and integrity, as noted in the literal Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And they go on to say that Epic Games was knowingly doing this in order to maximize profits. Let me tell you what they say. The defendants, in order to maximize the number of users of Fortnite and therefore maximize their profits, have knowingly and voluntarily developed, manufactured, published, and marketed a dangerous product that has been designed to create dependency. In so doing, the defendants have unlawfully and intentionally violated the children's rights to life, security, and integrity. All right, so that's a lot to take in, but at the heart of this, we've got this kind of funny, but also kind of true lawsuit. The lawsuit says that Epic Games made this game addictive, and they even tested it on guinea pigs to make sure that it was. And therefore, under the Consumer Protections Act in Canada, Epic was required to let everyone know about how addictive the game could be before they even put it on the market.
They are saying that Epic used psychologists to make Fortnite as addictive as possible.
So after all this shit, what do these lawyers expect Epic Games to do? Well, in short, pay up.
Where's my money?
Just give me 5 minutes.
You know what? I've got 5
Fucking minutes! Where's my fucking money, Danny?
The lawsuit asks for a tribunal to assess all the damages that Fortnite addiction has caused in the province of Quebec. And then Epic has to pay all those damages back to those affected. They're also asking Epic to pay back all of the V-Buck purchases that these kids made and continue to pay back damages for those to anybody else that comes forward. And wow, all of this is absolutely insane. Of course, we've all heard this sentiment before. Video games, they're addictive, they make us stay inside all day, we don't do our homework, we smell really bad. But honestly, cocaine? Really?
You've ever seen this much cocaine in your life? That's gotta be worth what, 10, 15,000? Oh, I blew it.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.